We got a bonus episode coming to you guys this week on In the Huddle. Coming up, we got my reactions to Super Bowl 58, our reactions to everything going on, breaking it down, analysis, and overall just going through it. With that being said, roll to the intro.
All right, you hear me all right? All right, let's go with this one here. 30 Stick Right, Reno, Zip Malboro, Miami LeBron, subscriber notifications on 2. Ready? On 2.
Set hit! Blue 58! Blue 58!
Canada with 18 art. I won, right?
180!
Yeah, here we go!
Red right, 24 double Puma on 1, right play.
Set hit!
Welcome back to In the Huddle. We are back here. It's a Monday. We got a bonus episode for you guys this week. Obviously, Super Bowl last night, the Kansas City Chiefs defeat the 49ers 25-22 in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. And the Kansas City Chiefs become Super Bowl champions back-to-back, the first time since the New England Patriots won the 2004 and 2005 Super Bowl back-to-back. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a Super Bowl. I mean, my goodness. Like, talk about a game that, like, just ramped up at the end. I mean, it just was an all-time photo finish. And we have a little bit of a bonus episode for you guys this week. Obviously, instead of spending all day Friday, talking about the Super Bowl and, most of the episode, I decided, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go no script. Just talk about this game, because this game was just, honestly, it was unbelievable, because it started out and we're all like, oh man, the first quarter was just rough. I mean, it was so rough, but I mean, the Chiefs come out, they win it, they win the whole thing, and I mean, it's just kind of unbelievable. Like, you almost just can't believe it, right? Because, for one, when it comes to the Chiefs, I guess just starting off, this team, we counted them out. I counted them out. A lot of analysts counted them out. I counted them out. I fully did. I thought, I put my Bills hat on, and I thought, maybe we'll beat them in Buffalo. If not, the Ravens will do it, and they ran the table. I mean, they ran the table. They had away games. They had away playoff games. It's just unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes has just come in clutch, and I'm honestly not even surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised anymore. I'm not jaw dropped that he's been able to come back. First 10-point comeback in Super Bowl history. I mean, just unbelievable from Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we all thought they shouldn't be here. We all, in December, we were counting them out. I mean, I think, honestly, after the Raiders game, we all were like, that's it. This is it. No Super Bowl for them. They're going to get knocked out of the playoffs. And we counted them out. And look, they won back-to-back. And now they got a chance to do history and, become even more historic than they already are and win it a third time. Go 3 in a row. Nobody's done that. Nobody's gone 3 in a row, and now they got a shot to do it. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they do it. If next year I'm having the same conversation where, they go 3 in a row. They've just made history. I mean, unbelievable. All right, unbelievable. Getting into the game, though, first quarter, it was kind of rough, obviously, for both sides. First drive, San Francisco has a very good drive going. 5 plays, 48 yards, then a CMC fumble. I mean, just something you don't see. You don't see CMC fumble. I think every blue moon he fumbles and fumbles on the first drive, and it's just like, wow. And it was a solid drive. I mean, they moving the ball downfield, everything was going well, and then it wasn't. It wasn't. That is followed by 2 punts by the Chiefs, 1 punt by the 49ers, a field goal in the first quarter. That really opened the scoring, I guess, for the 49ers. Then the Chiefs get in the red zone. And then Isaiah Pacheco fumbles. I mean, it's trade-offs. And honestly, when I look at the stats, this was a very even game. There's no doubt about that. This game was very even. It was not one-sided. It was even. It was extremely even. You can't sit here and say it was one-sided, because it was not. It was very even, especially to start. I mean, it was incredibly close. These two teams really battled, and they were damn near close to each other. It was anybody's game here. Either way, so you get the fumble from Pacheco, 5 plays, 66 yards. That's a 2-minute 49 drive. 2 punts, 1 by the 49ers, 1 by the Chiefs. Then you get the touchdown by the 49ers in the first quarter, right? In the second quarter, excuse me, because you got the field goal to start the second quarter from Jake Moody, and then you got the fumble by Pacheco. So you get the touchdown by Jake Moody, by Juwan Jennings, right? That little reverse screen pass that, whenever I see a play like that, I think of Julian Edelman. If you've seen that clip on the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce, when he's talking about his touchdown versus the Eagles that he threw, it was like a play like that where he was supposed to throw the ball to the screen on the other side, but he threw the touchdown instead. That one, Juwan Jennings threw it right back to CMC, and he made a play. I mean, that screen honestly had a chance of getting blown up, and he just did what he does, and he's been doing it all year. Offensive player of the year for a reason. Creates a play, touchdown. first touchdown of the game. And then the Chiefs follow that back up, 13-play drive, 66 yards, 4-minute and 33 drive with a field goal. They get them the score, and that's how they end the half, right? And going into it, it looked a lot like the Tampa game. I mean, the 49ers did a great job in this first half, really making Mahomes' life hard. Because not only did they, force a turnover, but they didn't allow them to score. You're seeing punts. You're seeing a field goal to end the half for the Chiefs. To end the half. That was it. There was no touchdown in this first half. And that is something that I wouldn't say, this Chiefs offense isn't like the past year's offenses where, it blows your socks off. But I mean, to stop Patrick Mahomes, a guy who honestly is very hard to stop, who requires a lot of attention to himself alone, not allowing to Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco in general. I mean, to let them be basically scoreless, right, until the end of the second half is a very good accomplishment, right? But the thing is, Super Bowls aren't won in the first half. They're won in the entire game. And to start the second half, right, the Chiefs come out and, it's just a bad drive, a play, a bad TFL from Isaiah Pacheco, who fumbled the handoff from Mahomes. And then Mahomes, second to very next play, throws the interception, overthrows interception by the 49ers. And, the one thing that I really do think looking back on this year, if this is one little nick I would have with the 49ers game, because I thought they played a very good game. I thought they played a very good game. I think game plan-wise, they played very well. But the little mistakes were not creating points out of these turnovers. You had the fumble in the first half by Pacheco. That I know, you were backed up a little bit here when the fumble happened, right? Because they were in the red zone. But then you have the interception here. And the interception was, I want to say, at the 44, right? So at the 44, you get the interception. You want to get points out of that. Instead, you get a punt out of that. And I'm not saying you get touchdowns on those drives. No, but I think if you can get a sustained drive going on both of those turnovers, there's 6 points there. If you go for field goals, if you get a field goal, right? So really, that's what kind of cost them here, right? Is that the lack of points on these turnovers, because then you have a 6-point buffer, right? If you get a field goal, or you have a 14-point buffer if you somehow get touchdowns out of these. And I think that's one thing that, for one, really did help the 49ers, because you're leaving points out there. Not only, yes, the Kansas City defense and Steve Spagnuolo are great. And the fact that Steve Spagnuolo, to this point, still doesn't have a job as like a head coach is unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. But either way, when it comes to just that's one nitpick. I think if you want to really go look back, those turnovers should have turned into points. They should have been sustained drives, but they weren't. And because the Kansas City defense did their job, they got the ball back to Mahomes. They forced the 49ers to punt, and they did what they had to do, did their jobs, right? Either way, the interception comes, then you get 3 punts back in a row. 3 punts in a row. That's a tongue twister. One 49ers punt, one Chiefs punt, another 49ers punt. Then you get a field goal with a 9-play, 47-yard drive, less than 4 minutes. Then you get another punt by the 49ers, another punt by the Chiefs, and then you get the touchdown, right? You get the touchdown to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? Off of the muff punt by the 49ers special team unit and Ray McLeod, right? Obviously, a good look by Ray to just kind of see that it bounced off somebody's legs and try and get it, but just couldn't get it. A wacky play, an unlucky play that results in points for the Chiefs. And that's one thing, like I said, the turnovers, right? Obviously, that first fumble, they didn't turn into points for the Chiefs, but that second fumble, that second muff punt turns into points. And all of a sudden, you are what? It's now, a 3-point lead, right? You take a 3-point lead in a game that, honestly, you were kind of down in. You didn't really deserve a lead at this point. It was punt after punt after punt after punt, but that's a momentum shifter. That's a game changer right there. That muff punt turns into points, and it gives you a lead, right? Then the 49ers respond with the touchdown. Obviously, Jawan Jennings again. Honestly, I think, look, I know this is probably going to be like a joke, but I think Jawan Jennings, if the 49ers win this, probably would have won, MVP. Probably should have won Super Bowl MVP. It would have been the most wild Super Bowl MVP that we've probably ever seen. But are you surprised? No. Either way, maybe CMC would have won it realistically, but honestly, I think the guy threw a touchdown and caught one. I mean, talk about an effort. And the most unlikely guy, right? The most unlikely guy out of all the 49ers weapons that we could have thought of to score a touchdown, besides CMC, Jawan Jennings is the guy who has 2, threw for 1, and caught one. I mean, unbelievable for Jawan Jennings. Definitely one of the best players for the 49ers last night, for sure. Coming up big, right? Either way, end of the third quarter, start of the fourth, 11:22 of the fourth, Jawan Jennings, pass from Brock Purdy for 10 yards. That extra point, though, on that play gets blocked. Chanel blocks it, forces a fumble in the first half, blocks an extra point in the second half, and that's one of the killers for the 49ers right there. That point makes it a 4-point game. It doesn't allow the Chiefs to go for a field goal with the dying seconds of the Super Bowl in regulation, right? They got to score a touchdown on the next drive, and that is a killer. And Jake Moody, who hadn't missed from, an extra point all year, it was like 48 out of 48 out of, 49 out of 48 now, I think was what it was. But he was like perfect from extra points or something like that. Going into this game, misses one, and that is the killer, right? It's another one. Add that to the list of killers right now for the 49ers, right? And, that results in the field goal that sends this game into overtime, right? This long drive. It's a 5-minute drive, I think. 12 plays, 69 yards, 5 minutes, 36 seconds off the board, right? Just, unbelievable. Are we surprised? Are we honestly surprised? I'm not. I'm not surprised that Patrick Mahomes drove down the field, right? Dying seconds of the Super Bowl, created a huge drive, sent it to overtime. Maybe because I'm a Bills fan. I've seen it so many times. I wasn't surprised. Honestly, when he got the ball, I was like, with like what? I don't even know when did he get the ball with? Here, let's find out. I have the ESPN play-by-play thing, so that's what I'm looking at to kind of see when he got the ball back. This is the field goal play. So he got it about 10 minutes left. So like 11 minutes, with 11 minutes and 22 seconds left. So it took 5 minutes off, right? Oh wait, this is the tying field goal. Sorry, not that. So there was 2 field goals. We had 3 field goals in a row. This is the one that gives them the tie. And then the 49ers take the lead again with another field goal. Jake Moody again. Then at the end, so this is the one at the end of the game. Got it with 1:53 left. This drive took 1:50 down the field, right? And then Harrison Butker, 29 field goals. 29-yard field goal. Good. So 1:53 to go, what? Roughly to the 35. So, or to the end zone. So it goes up to the 35. So from the 35 to about the 20-ish for the Chiefs, as I have a hiccup there. Either way. Just, again, was anybody else surprised? If you're like a Bills fan or a Bengals fan or just an AFC team fan, were you surprised? Like, I wasn't. I kind of figured he was going to drive downfield. Look, Mahomes is bread and butter. I know we talk about it a lot. I think, honestly, it is these, like, late drives. Because somehow, just like 13 seconds, even though I don't want to get PTSD from that, right? Just saying it, I can see it. That's his bread and butter. That's what I think, honestly, he's very good at. Is this little bread and butter, drive down the field, get you points when you need it, right? And that ends regulation. Going into overtime, the 49ers take the ball, right? They take the ball. And I saw something this morning from like Bleacher Report or one of those, news outlets saying that the 49ers didn't know the overtime rules. Frankly, I still don't know the overtime rules, but I don't disagree with them taking the ball first because then you know what you have to do if you get the ball back, right? Their first drive in overtime, it results in, a field goal, right? I think, honestly, the biggest play for the 49ers was that CMC, giant gain from that little screen pass at the end. Brock Purdy's getting pressured, pockets collapsing. CMC screen pass, little jump cut. I mean, that was probably his best run of the game, Best run of the game, bar his touchdown. Little jump cut into space, gets a huge gain out of that, but it only results in a field goal, right? It's a 13-play, 66-yard drive that lasts 7 minutes. It's a 7-minute drive. That's basically half of your overtime time right there. 7-minute drive for a field goal. And Chris Jones does Chris Jones things. So many times when you get that late little half a second pressure on the quarterback or on Brock Purdy this game, I got to hear, oh, he did it against Josh Allen. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I know he did it against Josh Allen. I'm well aware he did it against Josh Allen. I mean, but that's what he does. Chris Jones, I think, is one of the more underrated defensive tackles just because I know we all know he's great. We all know he's good, top 10 defensive tackle for sure, right? But he's just a game changer in so many different ways, right? So many different ways that, honestly, I think he's very underrated when it comes to people giving him credit for it. I know Aaron Donald gets all the love, everything like that, but I think Chris Jones is right behind him. Right behind him. Talk about a game changer when you need it. That field goal is caused by Chris Jones pressuring, right? That's not going to show up on the stat sheet. That's not going to show up here, right? That field goal in extra time, that's caused by Chris Jones. That late half a second pressure, causes that. And just does what he does. Chiefs get the ball back. 7-minute drive, 15 plays, 75 yards, right? I guess the big one, the 4th and 1, right? The Mahomes, RPO keeper, right? 4th and 1, 8-yard gain, right? And then as well, I think the other big one in that was the Travis Kelce, play for 7 yards late in that drive that set up the touchdown at the end of the game. But as well, we talked about Travis Kelce a lot last week, right? And not a lot, but I mentioned that, having him versus Fred Warner. And there were a lot of times Fred Warner got the best of him. There was a lot of times he got the best of Fred Warner. And I think that late drive, in that last drive, I think heading into overtime for that field goal, where the Chiefs needed to get the field goal in overtime, that late little drive that set up that field goal that, Kelce had that giant gain. I think it was for what was it for? Let's find out. It was a lot. You know what I mean? That huge gain beat Warner off the line. He beat Warner off the line. 22-yard gain, right? 22-yard gain for Travis Kelce. That short left pass from Mahomes with 16 seconds left on the clock. I honestly thought he was going to score there. Either way, going back to the overtime, final drive, that little 7-yard pass for Travis Kelce sets up what we know. But also what sets up is this Mahomes 19-yard scramble, right? Which was 3rd and 1. So 3rd and short, 19-yard scramble. I thought he was going to score on this. I thought he was going to score on that. It looked like he kind of cut up and you didn't really see the 49, or you didn't really see Gibson. He wasn't really in frame yet. Like, he wasn't in the shot. And you're like, whoa, like, there is too much space here, right? And I thought he was going to score. I thought he was going to beat Gibson out, but tough running from Mahomes. Little shovel pass to Travis Kelce for 7 yards. Almost picked up a first down, or did pick up the first down there. I thought the spot there was kind of weird. I thought he was a little short, but either way, it wouldn't have mattered. 1st and goal, San Francisco 3. Mecole Hardman, 3-yard pass from Patrick Mahomes, wins the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Mecole Hardman, was a Jet to start the year. The guy was not used in New York. Chiefs got him back for basically nothing. Late round pick, I think. Maybe 1 or 2. I think it was like a 5th or a 6th round pick that they got for him back. And that's why. I don't want to say that's why, because Mecole Hardman, really hasn't been a factor like he was last year, where he was, the third guy on this team. Like the guaranteed third guy that, you knew he was that third guy. And honestly, this playoffs, I think, has been kind of rough. The fumble in Buffalo that almost cost him the game, I think, was something that definitely loomed over his head. And a lot of Chiefs fans that I know didn't want him getting the ball back anymore. But that time, I think he had that huge catch in the first half, from Mahomes. And now he's got the 3-yard touchdown to win the Super Bowl. Talk about a big redeem game, I guess, if you're going to hold that fumble over his head. But, Just unbelievable. Unbelievable Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, look, I hate to say it because I'm a Bills fan. I know I've been knocked out by the Chiefs. God knows the last 4 years, maybe. Something like that. It feels like an eternity. But I mean, honestly, putting the journalist hat on, you just got to sit here and applaud it because it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I know people are gonna, yell about the Tony Romo, what's it called? Glazing of Patrick Mahomes, but clutch. Mahomes came in clutch. That's the one thing. Mahomes came in clutch. And honestly, when it comes to the 49ers, there's nothing you could have done, right? Yes, you could have definitely made points off the fumble and the interception, right? That's for one. The extra point, definitely you could have done, you definitely, if you had that, changes the game tremendously, right? But other than that, what else can you do? What else can you do? Honestly, the Chiefs got them where they wanted them, right? Because first half, the game plan for the Chiefs in that first half for the 49ers, amazing. Flat out great, all right? Exactly what you needed to do. Second half kind of tails off. The adjustments kind of change. Either way, right? That muff fumble is what gives them life, right? Because before that, they honestly didn't have life. You had the giant TFL from Isaiah Pacheco, and then now you have, the interception by Gibson, right? Then you got the muff punt after back-to-back punts for both teams at that point. And then you get a touchdown that you shouldn't really be leading in the game, right? At that point, did we really think the Chiefs were going to start? Did we really think the Chiefs deserved to lead in the game? No. But they get the opportunity and they take advantage. That's the difference. That's the difference there. Huge difference there. Either way, stats-wise, completely even. Total yards, 455 for the Chiefs, 382 for the 49ers. Passing yards, 325 for the Chiefs, 272 for the 49ers. 130 rushing yards for the Chiefs, 110 for the 49ers. 5.4 yards per play for the 49ers, 5.8 yards per play. 23 first downs, 24 for the Chiefs, 23 for the 49ers. 3 of 12 on third down efficiency for the 49ers. 9 of 19 for the Chiefs. 1 of 1 for fourth down efficiency. 1 of 1 for fourth down efficiency as well for the Chiefs and 49ers. 71 total plays for the 49ers. 79 for the Chiefs. 1 sack allowed for the 49ers. 3 sacks allowed for the Chiefs. 5 punts for both teams. 6 of 40 penalty yards for the 49ers. 6 of 55 for the Chiefs. 2 fumbles lost for the 49ers. 1 for the Chiefs. 0 interceptions thrown for the 49ers and Brock Purdy. 1 interception for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. 38 minutes and 31 seconds time of possession for the 49ers. 36-26 for the Chiefs. Just unbelievable, right? Going into this game, it's just unbelievable. Talk about even. Honestly, like I said, what could the 49ers have done differently? Like I mentioned, take advantage of the opportunity, the opportunity on the turnovers, convert the PAT, right? And then, not fumble, the muff punt. Obviously, that's a crazy freak play either way, but take all those out. I think I'd be sitting here saying the 49ers are Super Bowl champions. And when it comes to Brock Purdy, I felt he had a very good game. 23 of 38, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions at all. None. Right? None. There was a couple throws maybe he should have got picked off, but either way, didn't. And, just... Look, I've never thought Brock Purdy was a game manager. I will take that to my grave. After that Tampa game last year, I knew he was something else. He had that it factor, and I will, go to my grave with that. I don't think he's a game manager. I don't think he's just a plug-and-play quarterback. He's not just another version of Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's definitely, he's definitely not another Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not just a guy you can put in the system and, flourish, right? I think that narrative. Hey, it's me. You're listening to In the Huddle on YouTube or wherever you find your podcasts. If you do us the favor, please hit the subscribe button on your local podcast app, or if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button for notifications on. You don't want to miss an episode, and yeah, honestly, you don't really want to miss an episode. Should have died if the 49ers continue, that they had won this game. Honestly, I think it should just die now. You know what I mean? The guy played a great game. he played a very good game. But Mahomes, 34-46, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. End of the day, Mahomes was just clutch. He was just special. It was just the magic, right? The magic of Patrick Mahomes. The magic that happens in all of these games. Every single year, every single Super Bowl, there's magic. And it just happened to go to the Chiefs, right? I guess the one, I wouldn't say silver lining is, look, CMC, didn't have a great game. 22 carries, 80 yards. 3.6 yards per carry, right? He was their best receiver. 8 yards, 8 receptions, 80 yards, averaging 10 yards per reception, 1 touchdown. Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions, 49 yards, 16.3 yards per reception, right? Juwan Jennings, 4 receptions, 42 yards, 10.5 yards per reception, 1 touchdown. Deebo Samuel, 3 receptions, 33 yards, 11 yards per reception. Kyle Juszczyk, 2 receptions, 31 yards, 15.5 yards per reception. Raymond McLeod, 1 reception for 19. Chris Conley, 1 reception for 18. George Kittle, 2 receptions for 4 yards. I mean, I said it last week. George Kittle is the safety blanket. I know he got banged up a little bit in like the late little half of the quarter, right? I think it was like the second half where it was at overtime where he got banged up, right? But the Chiefs did a very good job at limiting these weapons, limiting them. Brandon Ayuk, their best true route runner, 3 receptions, 49 yards. Juwan Jennings, a guy who you would have never expected to be the third best receiver on this team, he is the third best receiver on this team, no, natural receiver, but the third best leading receiver in the Super Bowl, 4 receptions, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 thrown, 1 caught. Deebo Samuel, 3 receptions, 33 yards. That's it, right? Or we had Deebo Samuel go crazy in the playoffs, right? George Kittle for only 2 receptions for 4 yards. I know he had 1 called back because of the penalty, right? Other than that, just they did a good job limiting it. Good job limiting them. A good job limiting them by the Chiefs. I don't want to glaze, right? The 49ers defense, though, I think was exceptional. Steve Wilkes, they talked about on the broadcast, talked to the 49ers at their defense after the game against the Lions. Said it was pitiful. Said it was embarrassing. It was bad. He let them have it. And they came out of this game, they came out with a hunger and a fire in their belly. They came out hitting. I mean, honestly, this is, I think, the best defensive performance I've seen the 49ers have all year. That's that they're missing Talanoa Hufanga and that they missed Dre Greenlaw for most of the game, right? With that freak Achilles injury, that sucks. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if Dre Greenlaw changes the game, but that's a big loss. And it's a sucky freak injury that really sucked for the 49ers, right? I think Javon Hargrave had his best game as a 49er, at least that I've seen all season. I think he had his best game. Just Chase Young, the guy who was the weak point on this D-line had a great game, I think he had a great game. Other than that, this 49ers defense came out with a fire in their belly. And I'm not going to say that the 49ers in general didn't come with a fire in their belly. They did. They just got outplayed. Simple as that. They got outplayed. And, look, they got outplayed. Nothing you can do. This team will be back here 100%. But it's almost sucks because it's like, well, where do you go from here, right? If you're the 49ers, like, where do you go? How do you get better? How do you get better, right? And I don't really know. I don't know how this team gets better because they're so good on paper. Brandon Ayuk is definitely going to play his way into a massive contract. I think he's played his way into a contract this year, a huge one this year. But, I don't know. I don't know. This team is already so good as it is. How does it get better? Do you get a third option in the draft? You have the first round pick this year, right? Do you get a third receiver, a third weapon to add to this already loaded team? I don't think you necessarily need it. But when Deebo, Brandon Ayuk, and Kittle are now having a bad game, you lean on McCaffrey, but do you get a third guy out of a sacked receiver class? Do you get another corner, right, to pair with Mooney Ward? I know I've seen a lot of Kool-Aid McKinstry being, drafted to the 49ers in mock drafts, even though I don't think he's going to go that late, but, another corner in the first round and a very good corner class, Overall, look, I predicted the 49ers to win 21-17. They didn't, but honestly, they damn near could have, right? Barring 3, maybe 4 freak plays, right? They damn near could have won this game. And it was on the tip of their fingers, but the Mahomes magic won it for the Chiefs. And I mean, it did. It well and truly did, right? For the Chiefs, when it comes to receivers, who else is going to lead this team in receptions? Travis Kelce, 9 receptions, 93 yards. Mecole Hardman, 3 of 57. Justin Watson, 54. Rashee Rice, 6 of 39. Isaiah Pacheco, 6 of 33. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 3 of 20. So, I mean, look, not a crazy game for the Chiefs either. Isaiah Pacheco, only 59 yards. You know what I mean? I thought the run games were going to be a lot bigger in this game than they were, but it honestly came down to Mahomes rushing and short yard gains for first downs and just taking advantage of your opportunities. That's what happened. And that's really the storyline behind it. Honestly, for the Chiefs, going into it, like I mentioned earlier, we didn't expect them to be here. They're here. They won it. As a Bills fan, it sucks to see, because we were so close to beating them. But that, bar that, this team has a chance to make history and become a three-peat, and we have a dynasty on us. And the fact that, the narrative that Mahomes, was the underdog and that we let that happen really fueled this team. You could see it. If they were going to call them the underdog, they were going to take it and run with it. And yeah, I mean, Mahomes, I think, is never going to be an underdog. I think this team go 1-5 to start the season next year. They make the playoffs somehow. I think this team, you regard it as a whole different team. Because honestly, this team was a whole different team than it was in the regular season. Barring, they let Tyreek Hill go 2 years ago. And now they've won back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, quite literally, the Patriots, right? Quite literally, the Patriots dynasty. How many times did we see the Patriots lose a receiver, right? And then win the Super Bowl, God knows how many times, right? What's next for Patrick Mahomes? Does he need, all rookie receivers? I feel like he's already had that. Take Travis Kelce out? I mean, what more? I mean, how much more challenging can we get? We got his away playoff performances this year, barring that he had, a receiver group that he honestly didn't trust all year. You know what I mean? He finally became to trust them, and they trusted him, and they bonded at the perfect time. They caught fire at the perfect time, and look what happened. As a Bills fan, I hate seeing it, but look, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it, man. I mean, unbelievable. I don't know where both teams go from here. Obviously, we'll find out in the later weeks what goes on in free agency and everything like that, and going forward. But I thought I'd create this little bonus episode for you guys, kind of going over it, breaking it down, going over my thoughts, and yeah, unbelievable. It was fun. I saw a meme on Twitter today that I think it was NFL memes. I saw this morning. It was all the Swifties experiencing more success in football in a year than I have in my lifetime, and I'm just like, it's just like, damn, you're right. All the Swifties are feeling what it's like to win a Super Bowl, and honestly, I hope next year they don't. I kind of feel like they hope, they feel what it's like to lose, but I don't know, man. This team has caught fire at the right time, and Andy Reid, I mean, look, I said it, last week. I think Kyle Shanahan has more to lose. Andy Reid proved how much better of a play caller he is and how good his scheme is and just creating space and minor opportunities, having backup plans to backup plans. I saw someone, I think it was Theo Ash on TikTok, and I love Theo Ash. I think he's a great TikToker. I think great analyst. Say that Kyle Shanahan has taken this scheme as far as it can go. And it might be true because honestly, I don't know what you add to this. What do you add? How does this team get better? I think they're already as good as they are. Are they at their limit? I mean, I don't want to sit here and say the 49ers are at their limit because I don't think they are. I don't think we've seen the best of Brock Purdy yet. I think he's still got a second gear. If I'm going to be honest, I think he's still got a second gear to go. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's a game manager. Yeah. Nah, I don't believe that. I've never believed he's just a game manager. He's got that it factor in him. You know, you can see it. You can see it when he plays. It factor. You know what I mean? And I just don't know where they go. You know, I don't know how this team gets better because they're already so good as it is, right? I think that the NFC won't be as wide open as it was this year, though, right? I think the argument going into next season is, yeah, you can run through the NFC, right? But you got the Lions, you've got the Rams coming back, you got the Bucks, you've got the Packers, you've got the Cowboys, you've got whatever the Commanders do, whenever these early first-round picks turn into for NFC teams. The Eagles are probably going to be back to, you know, whatever they were at their somewhat heights after this season collapsed for them. You know, yes, the 49ers are probably the best team of the NFC right now. Will it be as wide open next year to run through? Probably not. I think they'll still be as dominant. I don't think they'll be as extremely dominant as they were this year in the conference, but I think they'll definitely be the 1 seed or in contention for it all season next year. I don't doubt that. I don't think this team is going to be it's going to be worse. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, I think this team I don't think this, I mean, this has, I mean, look, let me know, you know, in the comment section or just, you know, tweet at me. Do you think that the 49ers have reached their peak? Is this it? Is this as far as they can go? And look, let me know. I honestly don't know. I'm kind of, you can make the argument both ways, right? You can make the argument both ways. But, you know, I said it last week. I think Kyle Shanahan has the most to lose, and now he's lost 2 Super Bowls to the guy who quite literally has magic coming out of him. You know what I mean? Arguably the Jordan of the NFL right now. Just clutch. He's not Jordan in a score. So, you know, point, I guess, if you're going to compare Mahomes and Jordan, even though it's 2 different sports, but he's Jordan in the clutch. You know, he's the guy you want with the ball in his hands in the dying seconds. You know, that's who you want, the ball in your hands. Either way, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here if you're the 49ers. The Chiefs, do you go all in next year? You know, I honestly, I mean, I would hate it. You know what I mean? As a Bills fan, I'd hate if the Chiefs went all in, said F it, do a last dance thing. You know, I know a lot of people have been saying Andy Reid might retire after this season. We don't know yet. There's no really rumors of that right now. You know, that was a big narrative going into the postseason. But, you know, do we see them do a last dance thing? You know, I don't think Mahomes is going to retire. The guy's 28, and I'm sure the guy wants to win a Super Bowl every single year if he can, right? Or damn near make an appearance. But either way, do we see a last dance thing where they go out and make a splash in free agency? Does this team need a wide receiver 1? I mean, I know in the regular season we said it, right? Like 100% they need a wide receiver 1. Do they need it now, though? Like, does this team realistically need one now? And does it become like when Brady got Randy Moss? You know, obviously there's nobody maybe really like Randy Moss, you know, in free agency this year, right? Or really looking to be traded for right now. But either way, a lot of good wide receivers in the market. Do they need a 1? Or is Rashee Rice the 1, right? Or is Travis Kelce still that 1 guy? Obviously, he's still going to be that 1 guy no matter who they bring in. But, you know, do they need a 1? I mean, they lost Tyreek Hill and they won back-to-back Super Bowls. So does this team need a 1? So I don't know. That'll be questions that we need to be asked either way. I have been Josh Ortega. You listen to In the Huddle. Let me know in the comment section below of this YouTube video, or if you listen to this on all your Spotify apps, wherever you're listening to this, wherever you listen to your podcasts. With that being said, though, let me know your thoughts on the Super Bowl. I thought Usher killed it in halftime. You know, Little John and Ludacris kind of carried it, though. We'll be honest. Either way, I will see you guys later in the week with more NFL news, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening. Make sure you're subscribed with everything, and yeah, go subscribe to our TikToks, Instagram, everything like that. That being said, I will see you guys Friday. Break!